this is Andre once again from Trap Nation. Hope you're all having an incredible year so far. With the success of the last mix we did, I want to do another one, but this time where we showcase our label Lowly Palace. Just a reminder as well, all music in this mix is free to use on YouTube if you include the artist's socials and a streaming or download link to the song in the description. That's enough talking for now though. Enjoy the mix, everyone.
She been in your bedroom, I know that. Feeling her on your skin. Think I don't know where your head's at. Where do I begin? Wrapping your fingers around her. Late at night, drinking. You let it linger, you couldn't quit. I think I'll leave it all behind. Love me a new one. I won't waste my time. Fuck it with you. Oh, let me show you how. Find me another. You can't break me down. Under the covers. Never know.
what I meant. Cause I know your thoughts and you know mine. We're flexible, we chose to be blind. But is it such a stress to call you one of my kind? Left foot, right foot, turn around. Keep that whole shit underground. What I wouldn't do to say you call me home now. Left foot, right foot, turn around. Keep that whole shit underground. What I wouldn't do to feel your skin to mine now. I just breathe it in, take my breath. Never know when I need it next. Lose it all, just hear you call. Ain't it strange, darling, you never know.
Just you and I flying high. I wish to never end this night. We're just living life. See your face in the flashing lights. Your cold eyes, dope in your veins. You're going down in flames. Just you and I flying high. I wish to never end this night. We're just living life. See your face in the flashing lights. Your cold eyes, dope in your veins. You're going down in flames.
Team is banning.
Butterfly is born by thy
Your
wish,
team is banning.
guided by lantern's light.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I think we are back again for the second best of 3 series of today, and this is the quarterfinals of the Winter Showdown series that you all are watching. We are gonna be having 75% attendance onto the blue side, and it's gonna be Leaf Esports onto the red side, and this is gonna be their game of their life, where they'll be able to reach onto the semifinals if they are able to win. Onto the casting desk is gonna be me, and I'm gonna be casting together with Sarah. So the draft are set in. Sarah, the Jushin and the Yi Shin already removed.
And the Yi Shin is just one of those heroes which needs to be taken out when you know that it's a comfort pick for either of the teams. And judging from the name, 75% attendance, which is something I could never have in college in my life. I mean, congratulations if you have the 75% attendance. You are a good student. But can that good student power show up in this match as well is the question, because so far the Jushin ban is justified. Maybe the Sora and the Grok up next, but it's
Your
going to be
team
a
will
finish
Minotaur
off what was
ban,
left
which is
undone.
not so seen into the tournament scenes. But what can we really say about this? They ban out the Minotaur, so what are they planning to pick up here? Maybe the Leomord or the Fredrin, or maybe the Claude, which could once again be taken down by the side of Leaf Esports.
This would be such a good a good Grok band here, because it's a broken wall, by the way, and the Grok can be so much easier to play rather than any other hero. Okay, wait,
clouds are
even the
ever
Kalito
shifting,
Perker,
but
but
this
Sora
heart
banned will
remains
be coming to on the side of Leaf
steadfast.
Esports. They don't want to let go of the Sora. But you know what? This is the first time that I've seen the Minotaur being banned. Maybe this is a bigger aspect coming through from the side of Leaf. But then again, maybe it's just an annoying hero to deal against for the side of 75% attendance. So now they can ban away another hero that can come through here. Hilda is also completely left open if they want to take it away, because that hero is such a nuisance. Unless they play that hero, they have to ban it, because if they don't, there are big chances that Leaf Esports can pick it away from themselves. So that is a viable one. And the thing about this game is that I haven't seen those big meta bans coming through yet. So I'm hoping they should do it right now.
They should, I
I've
mean,
been
and then
waiting
the
for
carry
too
ban,
long.
yeah,
Is
like we were
banning.
saying, they are most probably
Oh,
looking forward to that Fredrin or Leomord, or the chunky drops.
I
They
am a
want
daughter of
those
Northern Vale.
picks right
I
in, and
swear
then
to
the
protect
Freya and
it
the
till my
Sora are
last
then
breath.
well and
wow.
justified, I would say, from side of Leaf Esports. But right now, team 75%. I'm just gonna call them
Our
75%.
cosmic blaze will
They
never be
insta-lock that
extinguished.
Claude. The Freya is gone, the carry is gone. The next best option,
Yep.
let's pick up the Claude.
Definitely up to the par. And I don't think you will play the Eve against the clock like that. It could have been a better option if they go for the first eye if they want the raids, because at least the first eye have some mobility, and you can use out of flicker when you are getting caught by Grok completely left open, can be picked away
Command
here for the side
confirmed.
of
Rhino
Leaf Esports. So
online.
now I think Mm, they can, if they want the mage, it has to be either the Farsa or the Kadita, and maybe not pick out the mage here, pick a completely different hero, because
Among the
I'm
planes
not a big fan
exists
of
the
the
equilibrium,
Eve against the Cloud,
which
because this is a
I was
dive
made
already.
for.
That's what the only ray of hope for the Eve here, I think, is the Grok pick, because
Mm,
the Grok can cancel out the Blazing Duet, and right now the
yep.
Claude is on the Flicker. He might switch to um, the Purify later on, but we'll have to see if he does that. But for now, the side of Team 75, they really need to lock in onto their jungle. Possibly the Leo Ward is
Oh.
gonna come in.
I will
They could
reforge
pick
this
up all the
world in
Kadita for
hellfire.
themselves, but if
Mhm.
they don't, they still have the option
Aren't you
for the
gonna ask a
Zacian and
lady
the Barca. But
today?
instead, they decided to go in for the Esmeralda, which I think is a very valid choice.
Yeah, valid choice and very early too. But the thing about the Esmeralda is it's kind of hard to counter into the lane because it's usually the one who counters a lot of XP laners. So I've been a big fan of the Esmeralda, but I've never seen
See
the
value
Esmeralda
in
being
me?
put into the first phase.
You
So
should.
that is one thing. But on to the other side, we talked about the Fredrin. It's gonna be coming through from the side of Fort Leaves. Maybe they needed something of an assassin that can deal with the cloud, but it's also fine because the Fredrin can have ways to kind of stop the way the blazing duet most of the time with the taunt that he have. But the Kadita ban very very legit coming through from the side of Team Leaf Esports here because of course you wanna remove out the Kadita that can also be a good dive composition coming through from against the Eve. You have to take it away. But onto the side of 75%. What
This
can
land is
they
our
remove
homeland,
here?
and it will
Napu.
soon be
Okay,
a
they already
burial
have the
ground.
Esmeralda, but I think they just don't want to take the risk.
That's why you don't want to give away the Lapo, even if it's in the goal lane or somewhere, because then the Claude would have to be, very safe, and you do not want a Claude to be very safe once you have the items. But other than that, they could go in for the Leslie ban, which is unnecessary. I feel they they could just go in for maybe the CC ban. That could work out for the goal lane. Farsa and Kadita have been taken out, so that's two mages already taken off the board for the side of Team 75. And
Let them play the hero.
Yuzhong.
I will be the truth this
Yuzhong
world
ban is just
desperately
Okay.
fine. Yeah, it
needs.
works. It works. Good ban.
Good ban, especially against Esmeralda because you don't want to stay very safe into the lane with the Esmeralda. You just want to roam around and dance around the map and try to give out a little bit of vision here and there and during the team fights most of the time and give out the zone potential. And of course, you might want to focus onto the Eve too, and that cannot really happen when you are going against the Yu Zhong. Even with the nerf that he has received, he's still a very very valid option into the lane. It has been, it always has been. So now it's gonna be a good. What's gonna be a good pick me from the side of Leave here is that they are going to be needing out the marksman. Very lack of choices. They
I will choose
cannot go
my
for the
own
grandeur no
path.
more. But the Arlot is what they want to do here. So they're trying to go for a bit of a Fredrin Arlot composition. But I'm actually gonna say that the Esmeralda won't be losing the lane against the Arlot. Like you always said, the Arlot always gonna have to be very careful into the early stages of the game because he's a very very squishy hero without any items. So now
I'll find
tank
a
and
new
mages
world
coming through from the
for
side
all of
of
us.
team 75%. My favorite. It's gonna be the Zeva against this combination. I don't actually hate it.
I was thinking of the Xavier in the back of my mind, honestly, the same thing, because
Is
you got a
not just
Fredrin,
a
you got an
Oh,
hobby.
Arlot too,
It
yeah.
but
is who
the Xavier
we
can actually
are.
keep stopping them in their tracks, and the
Mm.
passive buff which he got just a season or two ago, it's just really good with the Lightning Trunkian as well as the Wishing Lantern. So that's two cooldown items, and you're gonna be spamming that damage. Once you get those four items on, you are going to be bursting them down quite a lot. The only thing you need to be careful of is to stay far behind of the Yve and everything in this situation. But we will have to see how that Xavier positions, because positioning is going to matter a lot in this game.
Yeah, when we talk about an immobile mates like the Java, it's always gonna be the position that is gonna be his top priority. The last pick coming through from the side of Team Leave is that it's really gonna be the Bruno. The first time that I've seen the Bruno going against the Cloud. I don't know if it's gonna be able to win it out, but I'm pretty sure the Cloud still has it in the bag because of the fighter emblem that he can abuse onto the lane here. But the thing about the Cloud is that he might eventually be able to win out. A few seasons ago, it could have been the Bruno who wins out, but the Claude is already so tanky. So yeah, I think it's also dependent on how they are going to be able to play that Purify for him as well. But the Atlas is kind of like surprising factor for me because for if you want to have an Atlas, you might want to pair it together with a high damage hero like maybe the Louis, maybe the first out altogether, but they were banning away all of those heroes that can be possible. The Javer and the Atlas combination that can come to into the later part of the game, but not into the early stages. So let's see how the early game will be going out for both of these teams.
5 seconds till the enemy
Exactly.
reaches
So, and
the
welcome to the
battlefield.
land of Dawn, ladies and
Smash
gentlemen.
them.
Game number 1 in match 2.
troops
Brock kind of
deployed.
missed the point of reading the numbers there. Unfortunate little one, but it's okay. The rock is still small for him. So we'll have to see how he performs mid-game onwards, because those ultimates are going to be the main deciding factor during the team fights.
It's always a turnabout with the tectonic charts when you land it upon the perfect members, and it's always going to be the decider of how the game is going to be lead towards. So that is what they want to go for, and I think he's going to have a second attempt onto the wall. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be successful right now. But onto the top side, this is what I am actually looking forward to. The 1v1 situation between the Claude and the Bruno, because the Bruno used to be the Claude version, but now it's actually a turn around. The Claude is in the meta. He can abuse the fighter emblems. Have a bit of tankiness, and now it's actually going to be the Bruno who's going to be able to have an aid. So BMIing away, so he's actually going to be in a safe position for real Kumar right now. But good read coming through from Unseen. He was able to have a good early rotation, which means that Clavarian might eventually have a good laning phase here.
Exactly. So, and against the Claude, honestly, the Bruno should be winning of the early pretty easily, at least until the Claude gets the DHS. So that's a solid 4 minutes nearly of winning the lanes. But then again, it's going to depend on the fact whether Kumar is on the Master Assassin or not. Because if he does have the Master Assassin, then it's going to be a really good game. But other than that, it should be a safe game for both the marksmen here, because except for the Grok and maybe the Atlas, there isn't that much of a die potential for either of the roamers.
The thing about the difference about the Atlas and the Grok is that the Atlas kind of need a distractor that can have a good setup for him and distract them. Like the Esmeralda can do that, and then try to go for the fatal links because he's very squishy. He cannot go for those head checks onto those boosters because it's gonna be taken down very easily, because they can eventually melt him down if the position is gonna bad. But bot lane though, Phantom Steed.
See the Leomar using up his ultimate already, but then the Atlas is trying to look for the stuns. Gets it down to 2. But
Wow.
the RWM is actually quite some damage, and the Darling Light is gonna come in and make all of them go down to their HP. But now the problem is they are not going to be able to capitalize on it. They weren't able to take the Lord and the Turtle, and instead they lost the Leomar in the process.
I think it could have been still very good if the Leomar could have survived this match. But onto the goal line side, I think it was a 1v1 situation. Clavarian actually lost out against a real Kumar. This is also the problem with the Purifies, right? You cannot really go in a 1v1 situation when you do not have that much of a mobility. He does have the tackle, but he will not be having that range that can tackle him away to safety. So now the turtle is going to be started into the hands of Leaf Esports here. They might eventually try to go for set. Fatal Links is still available.
Red Rain is gonna win out the retribution against the Leomord and Grok. I see what you did there. That's something I would do as well, but unfortunately, it's fine, because end of the day, I think that was a 2 for 2 in this fight, but the Turtle was in favor of team, 75%, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, yeah, it has to be in the side of 75%. But yeah, that eventual chaotic team fight could have turned a little bit too in favor for one side, but it kind of get equalized now because it's actually going to be 1k goal difference that we can see here. Riza able to get onto this creep. They're still able to have a good lead onto the XP level. But then onto the other side of Matt, I think he might try to go for the engage if he is willing to do so, because the team is already up. We get a stun.
Clearing out, we can see the Rock is going to take charge defensively again. The Blazing Duet is already dealing quite some amount of damage, and Real Kumar will be able to find that kill right under the turret. And now Fredrin trying to frontline for his team, but will be forced to back off right to their bases. The Dawning Light trying to deal some damage out of the backside, but Esmeralda will be trying to find the Yi, but Falling Star Moon should be able to get it. Using the Purify, but the turret damage, way too much for him to handle. Tension comes in while Recash finds the R-Lot in the mid side.
That was a good snipe coming through from the Xavier recash, and I think that could have been turning worse for the side of Team 75%, 75%, but they are able to make it through all of those fights that they created here. So they'll be able to create out a bit of a spacing because as a Xavier, you don't usually win out onto those skirmishes into the early stages of the game. But hey, that was a good steal onto the XP crap, so that's definitely going to be a lead that he's going to be having into the experience level too. But the mid side, I think there might be a bit of a fight. Look at that.
Something with the Phantom. The Fatal Links pushes, pulls the Brethren right back into that mid tier 1. But the Brethren this time around manages to sustain, and she will be finding a very good position onto that heat and would be able to help the team. But now the Claw uses up the Battle Mirror image, and it's just the last basic attack on the Brethren, and Riza will be able to find himself alive at his red buff. Esmeralda definitely trying to mark down the heat every single time, but the problem is going to be if the Esmeralda finds a little more sustain and he zones the Yeep out of the 2 lines.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why you pick out the Esmeralda to be onto the backside of the Evo most of the time. And I think she have been finding a good targeting though, because he has been able to position so well that he hasn't been getting caught by that too. But now the turtle will be going into the hands on the side of Leave here because they're going to be actually having a good lead right now. But they finally were able to get a shutdown onto the clock, right? Real Kumar was getting taken down, so that's one game that they can actually have a top lane, though they might want to focus onto this turret. I don't think they'll be able to take it. Good clearance coming through from the Esmeralda. Bori Boy able to defend onto that too, but none of the turrets has been lost except the top turret taken away by the side of 75%.
Exactly what. It's a bit of a objective-based gameplay coming in from the side of Esports, while 75% they are looking a little bit more towards the kills. So I think late game would matter a lot as to who gets more turrets right now in the mid game phase. But we'll have to see, because it's going to be a battle of the Claude versus the Bruno. And right now, as you see on the outside, a lot of damage is being dealt by Veteran as well as that Arlott right there. But right now, placing when released up, the Fatal Link comes in to clutch, and 2 people will be taken down by Claude as well as Atlas right there.
Re-initiation coming in perfectly for the side of 25%, and they were able to get a kill onto the hands of Real Kumar. That is the Claude, by the way, and yeah, that is a good trade actually, because they were able to remove 2 of the heroes down, the jungle for the jungle and the roam again, even though they are gonna be able to have that gain. I think Mori Boy still finding something out of the picture here. He's trying to get onto the turret, I believe, so that he'll be able to get onto the lane. Still, Real Kumar doesn't really care where Unseen is gonna be. He's just focused on taking turrets. So 2 turrets down for the hands of Leave, and now the Lord will be upped again. And looking at the position so far, I think 75% is in a better position if they want to start onto the Lord, but they need to wait until Matt, if he's available on time for the Lord, because they cannot burst down the Lord without his presence, and of course they're gonna be needing the clock to be around the vicinity too.
Here now to the final slide as well, the tech chart combo. That's a lot of crowd control for them to handle, and one person will already be taken out. That's all the behavior. But right now, Sally, the one who is danger, is singly out though, but he never mind. And if he does, going to be useful, but he doesn't, because Atlas was there. Use the fatal there's no need to escape for him there. And this should be a pretty easy Lord for the side of Esports, but right now they aren't going to be committing to the Lord, and instead they are still rolling it out down mid, and the Tony Lion team isn't going to be enough. Yes, it is. The burning the glowing wand takes down the Yeep. Finally a kill was needed, but the Claude gets taken down as well.
Yeah, but there's a Phantom State onto Unseen here, but he's still not going to be able to take any kind of damages. But still, I think Bori Boy could have been joining into the team fight so that they'll be able to find a little bit of an angle that can create spaces for them too. But onto the other side though, Unseen getting spotted upon. He was trying to give out a vision onto the lore, but he might be in trouble. Does have the knockout, the walls is shut in, the dawning light will not be taking him down just yet.
As far as we can see, right now the goal difference is leading by just a 1k margin towards the side of 75%. But if the Bruno actually gets to hit his shots in towards the 12th minute onwards, once he picks up the Malefic gun, he should be able to dish out a little more damage as compared to the Claude. And there are quite a few crowd control things that the Claude will be affected by every single time that he tries to go into the engage, the tech charge, the taunts, the final slash, every single thing, and even the RW and lockdown. So that is going to be a major source of trouble for the side 75%.
Yeah, that's why he's gonna have to be careful whenever he dives in with the blazing duet because it's gonna be the main damage source. And the fact that it's gonna be a holy crystal into the hands of the Eve, I think you're not gonna have the need. I mean, it's gonna be a big damage, but you're not necessarily gonna be needing that holy crystal. But the damage is gonna be perfectly output here, so they are gonna be able to poke it on time if he does have the target to the right angle and the right positioning to do that out and be able to poke without getting poked instead. But it's been a long while that these two teams have been teasing onto the Lord. They are not taking it. They are not taking a fight. They are just calculating. Very, very calculative on how they want to engage. None of the rumors have been engaging. They're not starting anything. But right now, look at that. See?
And look for a little bit of safe positioning that he can possibly find. Sar will get knocked down, the tech charge on the two, but there's no backup for him. Real Kumar takes down Unseen, and now the Leopard is skirting down the mid though. And he actually manages to find two people, now the third for himself. The side of team 75% definitely looking very strong in terms of whatever kills they can find right here. That's going to be a white call for them. Just 10 seconds on the clock. Will they be pushing down the inhibitor when they are placed for a Lord? And I think that is going to be the aim here. There's no turret shield, no heavenly blessings. Still 5 seconds for them. And they really push forward. And look, they're just going to minions are out.
That was a very, very good lead. They completed a full wiped out and they took down the one inhibitor too. So this is gonna be so much in favor for the side of 75%. And I don't think they will be able to find anything for the side of Live. They will be unable to find any opening here. This is why I was also kind of questioning the Holy Crystal coming through from the hands of She, because he kind of needed that Whistling Lantern to dish out the damage against Bori Boy, against Red, against Superman even, but they cannot really do that right now. But look at that, Bori Boy though.
Is definitely trying to look for a bit of an engage, but he wasn't really going to find anything except for the Fredrin trying to just poke him out while the Lord is going to be charging down the mid lane. There's no inhibitors to protect them as well, but right now they are actually managing to sink down the lanes perfectly, so that's going to be an easy inhibitor secures on at least the top and bottom. But do you think they can find the base? Is the question.
I think they are actually managing to try to stop the Lord just because of the walls that they have right now. But Visa though, I think he's just trying to find something out here. But good relocation onto the Lord. They are unable to find even one inhibitor. The only one that they can find was when they were able to take out the mid lane here. So this is a great defense coming through from the side of Leave Esports here. They can keep on doing this, try to stop it for so long, because this means that they're going to be needing another Lord. But right now, bot and top, this been still pushed in.
They did not really manage to find more than one inhibitor, which is unfortunate provided the fact they did have an amazing lane sync with the minions. But I think the problem was the last busy stage of it in terms of the engagement wanted, yeah, and also the wave clear from the green and the blue is actually quite a lot. And even the Frederick was there to distract the Lord from just bursting down the turrets than what it would have actually done. Bori Boy, he definitely needs to look for the kite onto She or even Clovarion, and he should be able to do that because he has the blade armor onto himself, and Clovarion doesn't really have the Rose Gold Meteor or even the or Well, going in for the 7th item right now, and the Atlas finally moving forward a bit. Tech charge comes in, only that last in the card though. On the backside, the Xavier is getting marked down, but Dragon figures out looking for something, and Superman gets busted down. Cloverian trying to get it down, he needs. Previous Rat gets dodged, and Esmeralda with an amazing setup onto 3. Starfall Moon will stop them in their tracks, but that's 2 members lost for the side of 75%.
Oh, that was a perfect re-engage coming through from the side of Leaf Esports here. They are finally able to shut down onto Real Kumar. And it could have been very, very bad for the side of 75% if they did lose on onto the Ziva as well. But now I think it's still very doable for them. But this is actually a little bit of a comeback that they were looking for here. Damage though, Bavarian.
He's definitely starting to hurt a little bit, but the problem is how long can he stay alive against all those blades? Oh, the Vicar final slam with the tech charge connects perfectly this time around, but now the Atlas is going to be targeting She down, and he has the picture still, but when he changes it, is the question he can't. He's just gonna die before that even happens. Now they're gonna stop Sar in their tracks, but Esmeralda is already there at the base, and I'm seeing the recall as well. Sar trying his best to heal up a bit as much as possible, but he just isn't able to do that because right now he falls prey to damage of the Claude and the stun and freezes coming in from the Atlas.
Yeah, this is actually the downside of going against the Atlas in this scenario. You can't really get away from it once it catches you. So, and at this point of time, I think Superman is also already tanky. He can dive into the backlines and go for the sets under the Fading Lens if they're deep necessary. But they will be able to take onto the Lord. This is gonna be a maybe an ending push for them if they are able to sing onto the minions and able to get out those onto those top inhibitors as well and stop the Grog from doing anything like dragging away the Lord with the wall again. But I don't know if they will be able to do this because they do also have the Xavier who can poke like non-stop from afar, because when he does have all those stacks and the passive onto him, he's able to have a good range onto those combinations that he have also. So they need to have him in a safe position. The only engage that they can find is if there is a flicker for Superman, and I think he does.
Honestly, here at Atlas is going to be the main condition. He needs to get those setups in the freezers. That doesn't really do damage. That's going to be a great wind chime coming in from the Claude right here, and Grom misses out on the tech charge. But oh no, the heal uses up the real one. He can find Atlas in the
Wow.
process. That's 2 members down once again for the side of a team 75%.
What?
But the damage output from the Xavier finds Cloverian in the process. That's the marksman gone from the side of team Leaf Esports, and that's honestly going to be
You know, the fact that he's almost in a red bill is so much in favor for the Xavier here. I think he's so ready to take anyone down because he is able to hit out from the backlines without getting disrupted, and that's what you want your Xavier to play around with. It's gonna be seriously annoying. More, it's like having the Yves ultimate, but then very constant, and that is what the Xavier provides. And he is so very, very well fed, and he have a lot of damage onto his hands as well. And looking at the XP and the goal lead so far, it's always has been into the hands of the side of 75% attendance, because they were so successful in taking anyone down, winning onto the goal lane as well as the XP most of the time into the mid lane as well. But look at the damage onto C Real Kumar. He doesn't really need the BM, he doesn't even need the Blazing Duet to take anyone down, but that was, yeah, they need to have an answer for this Claude.
That's exactly going to be the problem, and right now we'll be seeing another Lord fight possibly. But the thing is, the farm difference is leading in favor of the person, and the Fredrin, he needs to mark down the Xavier real hard. That's going to be the main issue for the side of Team 75%. They need to protect the Claude and Xavier at all costs.
if they are able to have a good and free hit, especially the Java, because the real Kumar can go in and go out anytime that he wants because of the BMI that he have and the Purify also. But the lore is already up. This is gonna be an involved one right now. If this should be a contested lore, because even if they don't contest, they're gonna be dying. They do have good clearance with the Bruno, but they have, for the side of 75% attendance, they have a better range in comparison to the Bruno too. So they need to be very, very careful here. Even if they give out this Lord, it's gonna be a real sweat for them to try to defend it. Because this time around it's gonna be defend Lord. Oh, look at that.
Engage, they can do it, gets marked down, Wind of Nature definitely helping him seal up, and the Fatal Links with a tech charge comes in right away. And Riza this time around will find the appraisal grad onto the Xavier. The retribution has been used up, so Perez is going to be marked down right from the turret as well, but the Xavier is still soaking up the turret damage. This amount of sustain is just insane.
Wow.
But Sar finishes it off for the side of Leaf Esports as they find an amazing comeback with the White Cloud, and they will be moving forward, come down the base as much as they possibly can. One person has to recall for Jimmy, as Sar is going to be the one, but right now Leaf Esports have nothing to stop themselves for, and this is going to be it for them.
A big epic comeback coming through from Leave. This was a decision whether they should try to get a contest for the Lord or leave it, but they wanted a third choice. That is go for the fight. And Real Kumar was caught lacking into the mid lane side, and there was a good read coming through from Sar onto the Earlord as well. He was able to beat out onto those Wind of Nature as well, and a good RWM coming through. You know, on some case scenario, you wouldn't have seen the RWM will be the start of the fight, but it was the ending of the fight. See, able to find the right targeting, and I think because of the lightning transcend that he had, he was able to take two down there because they were together in one place. But what a good turn of events! It was only one fight. It was all it takes for Leave to win out the game. Congratulations to them, but they do have two more games if it is not a sweep.
Put a glass box around her and she'll break the glass. If you try to cage her in, she'll light the match. Oh, she's like an animal, it's in her blood. She will turn every chain into dust, into dust. Into dust. Like the wind is free, like the water's deep. She's a burning rush.
That's kind of crazy, man.
They call me a hero because I saved my nation from falling apart.
I need to go and get my charger.
Come on, Dexter. It's our
Your
showtime.
team is banning.
Welcome back to game number 2 of this best of 3. First game, Leaf Esports pulled off an really amazing comeback from their side. That late game Bruno and Yves damage potential, and then the setups from Sar was just way too insane for the side of 75% to handle, and this time around they will be banning the Claude themselves, while the Yisun will remain the standard ban from the side of team Leaf Esports. But for now, we have to see what they go ahead for their second match. Maybe the Eve maybe the Jushin,
Fight.
they might want to
Fight
take it
for
out.
the
But instead they
ultimate
decided to take
answer.
out on the Hilda. So possibly the Grok is going to be the next ban from the side of 75% since this is a Broken Walls map. And what we cannot really think is that they take out the Sora because Sora is just a very double-edged sword right now. You can take the
Butterfly is
Sora, give away
born
the
by thy
Valor, and
wish,
that's going to be
guided
much worse
by
for you. Jushin
lantern's
gets banned,
light.
obviously. Most possibly the Grok should be the next ban. Maybe the Garot Kacha is an option. Maybe the Esme or Lapo on towards the EXP, or the Phobius at best, or the Yuzhong, as we have been seeing in some of our games. But we'll have to see what both of these teams decide for now. So Debbie, take it over.
Yep, I want to know if they're gonna be going for the respect bans here, man, because I think it's gonna be very important that they kind of go for the respect ban also, because it is a team that you don't usually play most of the time together with, and then if you know one game already in the best of three series, you want to see how it
The
goes
clouds are
well
ever
for them.
shifting,
If you
but
want it
this heart
smoothly, you want to
remains
remove all the heroes that you've
steadfast.
been struggling together with, and like you said, the Grog, the Jushin, the Eve always have to be the one that is taken away. Most of the time, it's a
Welcome to
red band. It's
Grog's
a
Castle, tiny
the red
friend.
band, the red side bands are always gonna be like this. But onto the other side, though, I think Sora has been completely ignored most of the time. But I'm pretty sure that they will be able to take it
I've
away.
been waiting for
Claude
too
removes
long.
Hilda as well, Sora as well. So what can be the possible first pick for the side of Leaf Esports?
That's what it's going to be an easy carry lock in. But then again, the Freya is still open, so that's also a valid choice to be picked up in this matchup. But late game, I mean, the carry does win, but one stun and the Freya can just two-shot her with the basic attack damage. That's what happens in the usual of situations. But we'll have to see what 75% decides to do here. They can still go in for the Farsta or Kadita themselves. They can go in for the Yeve. That's a very valid choice. They if they want to pick up on the Angela or something, it could be the Basia Angela or Fredrin Angela composition. That could work out.
May you
Xavier
find
was working
tranquility
well, so
in
they can still lock
battles.
into that, but it's going to be
Opposing
Badang along
forces
with the
breed
Lunox. That's
life.
a pretty early lock in for those two heroes.
Badang. I've never seen a Badang being played here. So I'm not sure. I mean, I do play the Vedanta to the Roman face. It's just good, but you kind of need another frontliner into the experience side if you want this combination to work out. But you know what? I think the Vedanta can still be flexed if it's necessary. You just want to flex it out into the goal, into the XP lane, into the roam. But I'm highly likely it's
Valor
gonna
and
be into the
royalty in a
roam here.
dead
But
body.
Lunox, so this is a lot of damage already into the mid lane side. So this might eventually be the answer for a carry because it does have a good penetration in the mid lane. If it does have a really good start to the game, he will be able to find the right targeting, especially against the gold laner side.
That's what. And Khadija, like we were mentioning, is already a very valid choice. And she is just one of those Khadija spammers. We have been seeing him in many tournaments for now. And honestly enough, it's a fair decision for them. And the Leo mode also works out against the Padang and the Lunox because he has a little bit of the CC immunity, which he is going to get from the tough boots and the brute force. So people won't be able to,
Experience the
uh,
euphony of suffering.
stay in one place and hit the Leomord for long because the Leomord is just going to keep running every single time.
Yeah, the real Leomore is a very, very hard hero to catch out with whatever you have played against. So sometimes it's usually hard to counter. There are so many ways to try to play it against by using the Guinevere or even the Harleys, but I don't know if they are gonna be able to play out the Harleys there again. But you know what? I kind of like the Grandeur here just because the Grandeur can
My tail's
outwings
been
out the
itching for
carry.
a real fight.
But then again, you're gonna be always in the vicinity of this Kadita,
See
and
value
you're
in
also
me?
gonna be getting picked off. So it's either gonna be
You
the
should.
Purify or the Flicker, and I recommend the Purify for the Kadita. But then again, what will happen when the Leoma is onto
I,
you? That is gonna be the question. So they
Minotaur,
need a
will
little bit of a
finish
heal, but
off what
Kalea
was
fan
left
coming through. They're
undone.
trying to be. I think they're trying to put up the Badang into the room, which is highly likely.
Yeah, that's what. The Granger is a good pick against the carry. That's a lane winning hero. But against the Leomord and the Kadita and Quiet, possibly the Yuzhong or the Arlod or, mm, you know, what can be the wrong pick here? It could be a chip, it could be something like the Carmilla, it could be the Rock Mino and Kalia are out of the board, so is the Hilly. It could be the Kirby.
Thorns
The Kirby's a bad
remain,
choice.
should
Your
petals
team is
fall.
picking.
What else do you think would work out in the roam for the blue side?
I think if it is against the Badang, you can play out anything that's possible here. Because there are so many options, right? Because they did ban away the Minotaur again. They're trying to lessen down the amount of roam that has been available. So, I'm pretty unsure. I can't see the screen. What the?
Oh, you just
This land is our
I think,
homeland, and it
your
will
team
soon
is
be our
it's
burial
going to be
ground.
a Lapu Lapu going to be picked up from the side of 75%. Definitely a valid choice. You do not want your Granger to be facing a Lapu against, especially in the EXP lane, because the EXP Lapus are far more dangerous than a gold lane Lapu. But we should be able to see an Esmeralda, quite possibly, onto the EXP. That's going to be a decent choice. Even against the Lunox, it's a very decent choice. But if Sar decides to go in for his signature pick, which is going to be the Arlot once again, then the Granger is actually in trouble.
Go
as well.
back to your
Unseen
crypt with your
decides to go
minions.
in for the Implosion user. That's going to be the Tigreal. Valid choice. But against the Granger,
I will choose my own path.
Your team is picking.
it could prove to be a little double-edged, because once you try to go in for the setup, the Lapu Lapu is going to be marking down your backline instead. So that's disadvantageous for these people here. As for the last pick for the side of 75%, we should be able to see, most probably the jungler, which is going to be maybe the Suyo, maybe the Fredrin itself, but that is banned out. Fredrin, Lance, and Yisun are off the board. So the third, fourth valid choice is going to be the Suyo. The Lucas could work a bit, but can they really pick their Expork? Expork is not gonna work against the carry and the Vita. Oh, it's going to be the Lucas. Yeah, hold it.
Nice read onto Mad. Yeah, he might be mad because he called out the Lucas, but hey, it's like this is a recent nerfed Lucas. I mean buff Lucas, right? He's gonna be able to have a shorter cooldown to the ultimates as well, and he's gonna have a base defense also. So I think this is a very very solid choice to go into the mid lane side here, into the jungle here, because of course the Gwender is gonna be kind of weak into the lane, but against the carry he does well because of the range that he has. So the early rotation wise is going to be very very dependent on the mid trial that we are talking about here, and the Kadita should have to be very very decisive on what kind of positioning that he brings out, so that they will be able to have a good. And we could see that Leave Esports were able to end the game with a turn around, right? So this time around, I don't think 75% is ready to give out any of those kind.
Welcome to Mobile
With that, ladies
Legends.
and gentlemen, we are into the land of Dawn, and it is
5
going to be
seconds
another
till the
interesting
enemy
game in this
reaches
best
the
of three.
battlefield.
Game number
Smash
2
them.
to be exact. Leave Esports
All
leading with
troops
1
deployed.
point, and they need just one more to secure their spot in the semis. It's single elimination, so it's an all-stakes high moment for these two teams. Last time around, Bavarian, he did lose out on the he gave a bad but he managed to secure the victory for his team with the damage onto us the late game. Will he be able to do the same, or is Viral Kumar going to prove why he was dominating the game throughout?
Yeah, with the Granger this time, and I think he will be able to do so much of a damage when the time comes in, and it's gonna be freezing out onto the lane as well. But top lane, I think they might want to focus onto this Arlot again. I don't want to be an Arlot, man. He's always gonna be getting the early fires most of the time, forced to flicker away, so that's gonna be one resource being burned away. But they're gonna be actually giving a dead lane for the gold lane side. But this is gonna be it's gonna be an invader for the blue buff here. Look at that, Riza just gonna be freely taking out their buff just because of that small rotation onto the top lane coming through from his team.
Sports have been showing so far, and that's honestly one of the reasons they won the previous game as well. Those late game positioning matters so much in a high stakes match like this. And right now, the Tiger is getting chunked down a little bit, and might need to back off because the turtle fight is going to be coming in, and you do not really want to lose any members before a turtle fight, unless of course it's a blunder which you make. I do not expect these teams to be the blunder, but Granger is getting a very pressured here and is losing out on quite a lot of stacks this time.
Yep, they are just giving out a little bit of vision here and there so as to not let the Granger be getting pumped, or yeah, he just gave him the pressure that's required. But a lot of low HP is already onto the hands of Unseen. He cannot be joining the team fights onto the turtle if he gets caught here. But Riza, I think it's gonna be surrounded. What?
And that's a big engage coming in right before. Oh no, but he actually managed to survive. And it's actually going to be she onto that Kadita with the rough waves who manages to secure the first blood on Boy. And Superman is also going to be taken down at the same time. That's an easy turtle secure coming in from Superman. So this time the goal lead already favoring them by 1,000.
Yeah, this is a very good start of the game, and Riza, I think he was quite in a position where he should have been getting chunked down and sandwiched his pawn and taken down eventually, but with the help of the Phantom Steed, which gave him a little bit of a hybrid defense and attack also, he was able to survive because of the lifesteal that he has right now. But look at that, to recash.
The engage come in, that will chaos is already used up by the Luna. Together of ways will mark down Mad. Not the best of decisions. That Lucas is going to suffer a lot against the Kalita. So, thankfully enough, he's going to be able to have a smooth unless of course he need to blunder on towards the late game. And look at the Granger, he's playing so safe, even when nobody is on his lane. So that's a little bit unexpected. And I think he's just trying to freeze out the lead for as long as possible.
He's just dependent on the Caprice Geo stack at this one, and he does know that the early game did not really work well for the team, so he might have to be the second option that they can go for here, recash. I don't think he's able to do the things that he should be doing with the mid lane though. I think that is a good engage here, but then again, yeah, back to the point though, I think he just knows that he should be the second option for the team to have a damage, but he might be getting quite surrounded there though, because look at the position coming through from Unseen.
And the Karita is actually doing a lot for her team.
Red team hero has been slain.
He is just getting those pickups where we need to. And honestly enough, it's picking off because the Badan, he's getting her setups, but instead it's going to be the Kadita who finds. Oh no, look at that. They are in danger here. Oh no, another rough waves and the Petrify as well, but this time around Badang trying his best to run away, but Carrie gets the flicker and as well as the kill.
Yeah, that was a killing spree already for the carry here. Clavarian doesn't really mess around, but it was kind of like predictable for the Harlot to be there under the position because Lapu was all alone into the lane, so he could have been having a bit of rotation of his own. Because there is a very weird situation between a Lapu and a Harlot, is that whoever have the first engages will be able to win it out. And this time around, we can see that Star is the one who goes for the first engage rather than Bori Boy, and this is always going to be in favor for the side of Esports here, and they are very ready to go for the team fights whenever the Arlo is still available. Now that they have the turtle yet again, they'll be able to have a 3k goalie, which is very good for a hero like the carry who is dependent on his items, and of course the late game too. When he get the Trinity and the Malefic gun, that is where the start of the fight is gonna be. Good zone coming through from Unseen. They will be able to get onto another turret up to the top lane again.
By himself. Now what? There's 4 people who's going to charge in on him, while the rest of his team, but no, he just realizes the danger and decides to back off because the rest of his team is kind of on the mid side, and Sar and they know that Superman is in that. Yeah, look at that. That's going to be such an easy pickup, but yeah, Badang, he does try to go in and try and escape, but Badang gets the stun, will fall prey in the attempt as Bavarian has put on the danger already stuff. That's what you can see. That's like, holy, the Luna doesn't work against the kind of local bomb and the impulsion as well. Even if it manages to catch anybody, it's just going to be the Lapu, and they find the kill in the process.
Lapu Lapu is gonna be the only one necessary into the team fights. And whenever he's in the team fights, I think they can at least find one shutdown, and it was onto Calvarian. That's the only thing that you wanna do. Wanna focus onto the carry most of the time and try to get him off of the team fights again and again, so that he will not be getting all the funds that's required. But then again, at this point of the time, I think he's very, very rich in gold and very rich onto the itemizations as well. So the next fight comes true, and if he is alive and not get taken down, that is going to be a winning fight for the side of Leave Esports yet again. So they have to be very, very careful for 75%. Look at that.
Getting another mega kill with that rough waves, and honestly enough, this is going to be a very difficult situation for the side of 75% this time around, because Granger, he doesn't have the farm he needs to snowball, and he doesn't even have the Kuiper in stacks. And look at that, Covarian just bursting them down like anything, caught off guard. You blink for a second and
He's getting deleted in this one place, and they don't really necessarily need any kind of like any kind of spells so to kill the Granger down. But that is a so of dominance coming through from Clavarian. He wants to end this game with his way perfectly on point as well. But Implosion
gets a kill onto Unseen. That's going to be, I think, the first stack for the Granger right there. She trying to run away, and he's going to be able to do it. That's the advantage. Just trying to chase her down. No farm, no damage, but the stuns are in low. But Risa will be able to find the kill instead with the killing spree. That killing spree emblem talent helps him a lot in surviving that team fight. And Sar here in the middle of 3. Can he find the aim assist? The stun. He's back up. Oh no. This is unfortunate.
Yeah, this is the problem with the that you're so dependent on the marks that you are gonna be having with the vengeance as well. But yeah, he did not necessarily want to go for that team fight here, because I don't think the team is eventually ready, and they need Clavarian in most of the team fights that is gonna be going for here. Superman on the other hand, though, giving a little bit of region.
Yep, the Granger is going to find out she, but he managed to recover his HP.
Oh!
Superman is gonna split burst him in the matter of like half a second. Superman is trying to run with that Badang, but how far can he really run? He's just gonna die from the turret damage itself. But Sar, can he? Nah.
Oh, no.
Very close. Very close.
Red team turret has been
Absolutely.
destroyed.
I think he must have thought that it wasn't worth the stress. That is just Roma. You do not even want to kill him anymore at that point, because they got the Granger already. But one compensation was found into the bot lane side, because they were able to trade it out with the turret. But then again, for the side of Leave, okay, never mind. Look at that.
Okay, that's interesting. Like, okay. The Esports can back up a bit. Damage from Covarian. Oh, final slash with the blinker again. He's able to find one, but he's going to fall for himself. So that's going to be a 1-4-3. Not the best of situations to be in when you're trying to push forward the inhibitors, but and the Lord is up. That's the worst situation to be in, because you just lost 3 of your members, and you're trying to get a Lord in a 2v4 with the enemy jungler and mage and everybody alive. Like Green and Dark, it's a carry. A split.
It's a carry.
It's a carry.
Welcome to carry, but rough waves. That's gonna be a direct set down to Recast. Good read with the implosion as well as the rough wave too. This is the reason why this kind of combination is very nasty here. I think it could have been better if 75% have a good read onto that and just make their leeway to the Lord instead of trying to be very, very undecisive. They were so undecisive of whatever team fights they are going to be taking. Even the Lapu Lapu, always an effort available onto those team fights, has been making them lose everything. Now Lord into the mid lane side. What can they do here?
The pressure coming down the mid side, and the moving maze could also be chunking down bottom lane. They could have honestly waited for the Lord just a bit. Yeah, because the shields wouldn't have been there at the 12-minute mark, and they could have pushed forward with the inhibitors too. That way, they wouldn't have died like this. So typically a little bit of decision-making gaps there, but I think it's fine because they find both the inhibitors anyways. And Lunox, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why would you want to fight a Leomord like that?
That is a very rich Leomord with a lot of items. Actually, a full item already. And then, yeah, you can't really do that and survive with the chaos when you are on a Purify, not even the Flicker. I think it's very good for Leaf to try to go in right now. Look at that.
Down by the there. He gets double as well. That's a lot of Sky Pierce stacks for him, and he should be able to clear things out. Badang gets the ultimate onto the carry. She's trying to sustain, has to flicker out of the situation. One more Rhapsody, and he would have been taken down because of the stacks from the Sky Piercer. So technically, if he's forced to take it a little bit slow, a little bit more flat.
Yeah, I think they just got disconnected a little bit under the synergy there, because I'm pretty sure they could have won the team fight if the carry was bordering to attack onto the minions, onto the um opponents rather than the minions, because there was no way they will be able to end it, right? They could have just focused on real Kumar and try to get a sweep on him and just take him down first, because at this point of the time he got 4 kills already. Even though they are so behind, he's gonna be farmed, and that is what he do not want. He's gonna be stacking onto the Capricia as well as the Sky Piercer too, which is not needed here. They could just avoid all of these here. So some micro mistakes have been happening all across the board for both of the teams here. This is also the reason why they couldn't really end onto the game too. So this time around, they're gonna be needing this Lord. They're gonna be needing this to end the game, because if they have caused another blunder again, this is gonna be a good sign for Real Kumar to have a good comeback. Think of Claverian. He's already able to take onto the Lord here. This is the carry we're talking about. Of course, he's gonna be able to burst down and strike down this Lord. Even though it's not really that evolved, I think it's necessary that they will be able to take this Lord again, because so far almost full build for the hands of a real Kumar. He's got Sky Piercer stack also, so if the damage is willing to take, he's willing to give out the damages, it's definitely gonna be very good for him. He needs to stay alive, spam all those Rhapsodies and the Death Sonatas to keep everyone away. And the fact that the Lord is going to be marching into the mid lane side might be in favor for them if they are able to clear it out so very fast. But then again, Red, though, he's not that tanky, just level 13. The Lord will be marching here. This could be a possible end for the side of Team Leaf.
You know what the final figure last. This time it connects. The Granger tries to purify himself right back to base. Should be able to find a kill. The Leomord is charging in so far ahead, and Harry is trying to watch base as much as possible. And Granger along with the Lunox, but the base, the Lord is down. Holy world breaking Lord damage. Had Claverian hit that base for like 2 more basic attacks, he could have ended this. But all of his teammates are dead, and he needs to back off as far as he possibly can from those enemies.
Look at the speeds of the base. It's gonna be so tilting for Leaf Esports to not be able to gain with another Lord. It could have been an ending for them, but now Claverian was getting zoned away by Bori Boy. Most of the time, we can see that he was able to survive for a long while, but he was getting zoned. He wasn't able to take Bori Boy down as well. So this is kind of a mistake coming from the side of Leaf. They should have a pre-plant there. When they had the Lord, they could have dived into the backlines and try to distract them and get a perfect position for Claverian so that he'll be able to focus on the base without getting zoned away. But they were a tad bit too aggressive and greedy at the same time, and they could have just focused onto the inhibitor first and try to send in the minions alongside the Lord and have it in a very unclearable manner, because no matter what, the clearance coming through from the side of team 75% is really not the best, because they do have the openings, but Gwenter is more of a hero damage dealer rather than the minions. But now they do have a second chance. They are not so far behind, but then again, how long will they be able to keep this up?
That's exactly the question. They need to find a way to end this, because I do not know why it is stretching for so long. They could have ended it like 4 minutes ago, 2 Lords, and all they need to do is get one proper process step along with the Lord, and that's just going to be it. But I think they just aren't able to sync it that way because either Tigreal is using up the ultimate a little too early or a little too late, or Clavarian is getting marked down by the Lapu Lapu, and just like that just keeps happening.
This is the reason why they are so delayed onto the game as well. They won't be getting the Evolve Lord yet, but they should be able to end it this time around because they have the third chance, right? The Implosion should be onto the perfect timing as well as Clavarian's position too, and all they need is for C to have a good pick off onto Real Kumar, even with the presence of the Purify, because when he is able to beat onto the Purify and getting taken down very low, Clavarian can go in through that. Even the Leoma Ariza can have a good start to that right now, but they are trying to sync onto the minions here. The top lane will be delayed just a little bit, but this is going to be the chance for the side of Leaf to end the game.
Ariza here is trying to find something again. Another flicker final slash, and this time Real Kumar is finally dead. She finds mad. Ariza finds enough to recash, and the base is getting thumbed out by a Tigreal of all people somehow. And again, it's going to be a 2-0 being secured by the side of Leaf Esports. Amazing victory coming in from their hands, and they will be finally moving in towards the semifinals. Any words from your side, Debbie?
Yeah, I would like to say that you know what, the carry should be banned no matter what because of what? Because of the reasons that it has always been a shredder and it is always going to be shredding all across the place. But you know what, this could have been ended like I said 5 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, because the decision making, the macro decision coming through from the side of Leave has to be nurtured a little bit if you want to go into the semifinals and win it out. You know, you can have a good decision making, still not fumble, just have a good read onto how you'll be able to end the game, because that is, they have a nasty lineup. They can pull it off like that. But this was pure micro coming through though.
Nothing can withstand